So you want to hire an agency to help you manage your SEO. The question is, how do you do that? Well, the short answer is that you do some research online to find an SEO agency you can work with. But then comes the hard part, choosing the right agency. In this video, I'll be going over 6 tips for choosing an SEO agency for your business. Using these tips, you can narrow down your list of options to find the right agency for you. Now, let's dive into the tips. The first tip is to set some business goals. It might seem like common sense, but it's important. Before you do anything else, you should figure out what you're trying to accomplish with your SEO. One way to calculate goals is to decide where you want your business to be financially and then work backwards from there to break that goal into more actionable steps. At that point, you can start to ask questions like, is your priority to drive sales, or are you more interested in brand awareness? Do you want to focus on more promotional content, informational content, or a mix of both? What kind of audience are you trying to reach, and where do you want to reach them? Asking questions like these will give you a clearer picture of what you want from an SEO agency, making it a lot easier to see which agencies meet your requirements. Plus, once you've chosen an agency, knowing these goals will make it a lot easier for them to tailor their services to your needs. You should also consider how much time you are willing to invest in your SEO. That will determine how much help you need from an agency, which services you prioritize, and so on. Next, you should decide on a budget. The last thing you want is to find the perfect agency, get right up to the sale, and then suddenly realize that they cost way more than you can afford. To avoid that, set a budget first so that you can quickly weed out any agencies that cost too much. On average, SEO costs between $500 and $7,500 per month. That means you'll probably want to stay within that range, or at least close to it. Of course, that's just the average. Even within that range, you should still avoid agencies that are outside of your own budget. You don't want to pay more than you can afford. But it's not just the expensive agencies you have to watch out for. You should also avoid the super inexpensive ones. You get what you pay for with SEO, just like with most things. I mean, imagine shopping for a new car and finding one that only costs $1,000. Even if the car looks nice from the outside, you'd immediately be suspicious that something was wrong with it. And for good reason. $1,000 is very low for a brand new car. So if an agency is suspiciously cheap, there's a good chance it's not worth the investment. You should aim for agencies that are affordable, but priced high enough to indicate high-quality services. Now, speaking of high-quality services, our next tip is to look at what each agency's services include. When you're considering an agency, you need to look at what you're getting from their services. What are you getting with your investment? What types of SEO do they specialize in? And there are several. I mean, I could list a million different things that go into SEO. Keyword research, link building, local SEO, YouTube SEO, A/B testing, SEO reporting, and on top of all those traditional SEO methods, you have AI SEO, which has gotten a lot more important in the last few years. And on that note, you should make sure your agency is adapting to new developments and not just doing the same thing they've always done for the last decade. All that to say, just because an agency offers SEO services doesn't mean those services include all the things you're looking for. You'll have to review the deliverables of each company on your radar to see if they meet your expectations. Go back to those SEO goals we mentioned earlier to decide what takes priority. Plus, it's worth considering if you want any other digital marketing services besides SEO, or if you think you might in the future. Generally, it's easier to get all your digital marketing help from one place instead of trying to juggle multiple agencies. So if you're also interested in maybe paid advertising, you might want to choose an agency that offers those services as well. You could always start with SEO and build on. Something else to do when choosing an SEO agency is to evaluate the experience of working with them. You know what's the worst? Partnering with an agency because you like their pricing and the services they offer, but then finding out that working with them is a miserable experience. Maybe they don't know what they're doing. Maybe they're just really unfriendly, or maybe it's something else. Either way, not fun. To avoid that, look into what it's like to work with them before you start the partnership. To start with, you'll probably want to make sure the agency works with clients in your industry. If you run a lawn care business, you don't want to work with an agency whose only previous clients have been aquariums. You should also look at some reviews. Any agency you talk to will tell you that their clients love them and they drive great results. And some of them are telling the truth. But the only way to know for sure is to check out some reviews and case studies to find out for yourself, outside of the ones you'll find on their website. Reviews and testimonials show you exactly what clients are saying about those agencies, and if an agency has a lot of negative reviews, you know to avoid them. But if the reviews are mostly positive, they could be a good choice. And case studies show you the specific results that the agencies have driven with their SEO services. If they have good results with a service that you're looking for, that's a good sign. A good case study will show you hard numbers that you can use to evaluate the agency's performance. Awards and certifications are always a plus, but the results they drive and the service they offer are what matter most. Yet another thing to consider is each agency's approach to technology. Technology is essential to SEO, especially today. You need to have the right tools for things like managing data, finding keywords, tracking results, and more. So for each agency you look at, you'll want to see what kind of technology you're getting from them. Ask questions like, do they have a tool to manage data? Do their tools integrate smoothly with the ones you already use? Do you own your marketing data or do you lose it when you leave? If the agency doesn't have their own tool, how do they measure performance? You should look for an agency that stays up to date with their technology and has a clear plan in place for tracking, storing, and reporting the data they collect. The last tip I've got for you is to see how each agency communicates. You want an agency that communicates clearly with you about everything that they do for your SEO campaigns. They should keep you in the loop with regular reports showing what they're up to and what kind of results they're driving. An agency that keeps you in the dark or doesn't communicate well is definitely not one you should partner with because it means you'll have no idea what's going on. And you're paying for this, so you should know what's going on. You also want to find an agency that communicates those things very clearly. You don't want someone that just sends over a bunch of raw data. You want someone who will prepare custom reports and explain what the data in those reports means for your SEO. So when you're talking to an agency, make sure to ask about how they communicate. That includes questions about how frequently they update you and what tools they use for communication. This is also something you should look for when you're reading reviews. Whichever agency you partner with, you'll want to make sure that they are transparent. That brings us to the end of this video. If you want to learn more about SEO and how to manage it at your business, be sure to subscribe and check out some of the other SEO videos on our channel. And of course, if you're looking for an agency to partner with, feel free to get in touch with us. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.